Hello, thank you for listening and watching You Had Options. This episode, I have my buddy Christian from Talk Me Off. He's a great graphic designer, great drummer, great promoter. He does it all. Here is one of the shirts that he designed for our buddies from Orlando, the Caffeines, or just Caffeine, sorry. It's great. Go find Talk Me Off on Instagram at Talk Me Off. Go buy their new album Cursed. It's great. Fun listen. Great riffs. Great drumming. Great lyrics. Yeah. Go find me on Instagram at youhadoptions. Please go subscribe to the YouTube channel so I can change the URL from a bunch of gibberish to just You Had Options. Thanks. I've gotten a lot of support so far for the podcast. I really appreciate it. It means the world. Thank you guys so much. Enjoy. Christian, thank you for joining me.
Yeah, man, thank you for having me. I'm stoked. It's gonna be a chat, right?
It's gonna be something. I have some surprise guests from your past that are gonna come out here and confront you.
Oh yeah, like Anthony Soprano and the Slipknot Windbreaker.
Yeah, it's gonna be like, I heard you've been talking shit. I've heard you've been using me as a joke background.
Not a joke, all seriousness, and the new metal in The Sopranos, all about that.
Did you ever get into Slipknot or that era of music?
I feel like in high school, I feel like everybody kind of had to, like to an extent.
Right.
Like at least you had to like listen to it a little bit, and like I don't know, definitely could have been worse. I'll say that,
yeah.
But like in high school, I listened to a whole bunch of weird stuff, so that it was like everybody was hyped on new metal and all this weird interesting things. So
yeah. My first actual show was a Treyu and 18 Visions in Atlanta. So I was all in.
How old were you?
I think I just started high school and my brother took me, so I must have been maybe 14.
32 at least.
Yeah, this is about when we go into quarantine 10 months ago, so like 10 and a half months ago.
Yeah, I'm sure bands like that are still playing shows through quarantine, so.
Hey, man.
Yeah, what an interesting world, dude. Yeah, 10 months being work from home, and, we're not doing much.
Right. Well, the thing about Talk Me Off, y'all put out a full length.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so we put out the full length Cursed, and we got it pressed. We found some awesome labels to back it, and then we played 2 shows with it, and haven't had anything since that. Yeah, we had a little release weekend with here in Richmond, and then we played a show with Teenage Bottle Rocket, and that's the only 2 times in person that we've like sold it. So that was fun.
That's fun.
But we recorded a new EP instead, so now we're just like, maybe we'll just just start fresh when shows come back.
Yeah. Four song? What are we? 5 song?
Yeah, so it's 4 new songs from us, and then we cover a Youth Brigade song. So.
Oh shit! Yeah, you're just from what I gather about you from your internet presence, which is very strong.
It's all a lie.
But you're super. I'm gonna project onto you right now. You're super into 80s hardcore, and how do you remember when you first got into that era of hardcore?
Yeah, it was back in high school. Like, so a lot of my friends, like, we all, listened to, like, Rancid and stuff like that, Operation Ivy.
Yeah.
And I feel like those were kind of like, yeah, those were kind of like, and even like bands, me and Holly were talking the other day, even bands like Anti-Flag, like back in high school, if you had like a punk band in the mainstream, you can kind of like wiggle your way into the stuff that you actually like after that.
Yeah.
So high school, started, but then like, Rancid was cool, but started listening to like bands like Gorilla Biscuits, like Chain Strength, Agent Orange, all that kind of stuff. Just kind of like the old SoCal hardcore punk and stuff like that for at least, for Agent Orange, and then the New York hardcore for like Gorilla Biscuits and all that. So
yeah.
But yeah, we definitely kind of span a few genres between all of us.
Yeah. I was listening to Cursed earlier today. And your drumming is very 80s, early 90s, like hardcore inspired to me. With punk, obviously it's punk, but
a couple 16th notes in there.
Yeah.
Just for fun. Yeah, because we get the pop punk thing and we all love the pop punk stuff, but I think, sometimes we're like, well, Ryan listens to like, like RKL, and like I listen to all this old stuff, and Holly listens to like the Donnas, and she, she spans a lot of genres too. So we kind of, it's interesting, but I think at the end of the day, it's still, punk band.
For sure. Yeah, absolutely. Did you get into like trying to get exclusive like color variants of records and shit?
No, so that like whole like, so I feel like with hardcore music, at least, like there's such a culture of like, oh man, like I've got like the 80s tee, or I have like the first press of this record that is like $350 for some reason,
right?
And it's 4 songs recorded with like a mic in the middle of a room,
right? And
I don't know, I like it's cool for collectors, and stuff like that, and there's definitely a few bands that I'd love to have all their records, but kind of like the par for entry, for like kids getting into music, like you don't want to show someone a band and it's like, oh well, there's no represses and you can only get this one record for $700 on Discogs. I think it should all be accessible, but I guess represses make that a little bit better, and people kind of milk that as it goes.
Yeah, there's only one like reel to reel copy that's covered in shit. And
everybody's dying for it.
It is $14,000. Yeah,
plus tax.
Yeah. I remember in high school, I was super into like Bridge 9 bands. And so...
You on the B9 board?
Oh, man, I was all over it.
Yeah.
You're talking all sorts of shit. No, I'm not really I'm not a shit talker, but, obviously, like you were just, to piggyback on what you were just saying, there's like this weird, at least back then, I haven't checked recently, but there's this weird like elitist type attitude.
Yeah. Where they're like, like I've got all the original shit, and I've got this thing that no one else will ever have. It's like, okay, cool. Like I have, the Minor Threat repress on a yellow vinyl.
Right. Right. I've got the Minor Threat discography on CD. That's all I fucking need.
Yeah, that's all you got. That's all you need.
Yeah, but I remember specifically trying to get the Righteous Jams Rage of Discipline on red like Coke bottle, clear red, and
a holy grail.
Yeah, and I don't know. I was working at Little Caesars at the time, so I was like trying to spend $200 on a fucking this vinyl that I don't think I even have a vinyl player. I just was like so deep into Righteous Jams at that point.
That paycheck was not hot and ready for buying expensive records.
Shit, no, was not.
It's expensive to collect records. I mean, like there's a lot of great shops around here, like there's Vinyl Conflict and stuff like that. And it's like, if you go in there, you're spending a couple $100 just because they have, great selection anyways. But it's like the resurgence, like we were like, I'd never been on vinyl before it talked me off. And like, it's kind of, it's a cool feeling to like hold something that's like bigger than a CD.
For sure.
But yeah.
The time and effort and money that goes into pressing vinyl, it's so much that finally to get the actual copy in your hand, you're like, fuck yeah,
Yeah, and then you're already over the songs. You're
Right.
like, all right,
You're already moving on to the next release that you're
yeah.
trying. Yeah.
It's already taken 7 months and $4,000 to get.
Right. This weird, this terrible cycle that I subject myself to.
Love it.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, I'm stoked to be on here. I'm glad. Yeah, you've had some great guests and stuff like that. I'm just not much of a zoomer, so
A Zoomer?
a zoomer. Yeah, I think that's
That's a generation term now, right?
I guess so. Yeah, I mean, in relation to Zoom meetings.
Yeah. Yeah, this is I work in an office, so this is my life. Just Zoom and
Yeah.
my Microsoft Teams.
You work from home too?
No, they made us go back in the office, so
Ridiculous.
yeah.
They gotta watch y'all just in case.
Yeah, man. If I'm paying them, I want to see them.
Yeah, I got to.
Fucking bullshit. But anyways, yeah. Don't get me started.
Yeah, it's positive.
Yeah, nothing
No
but positive.
No work.
Did you ever see a hardcore band that you like put up on this kind of pedestal, and you're like, man, they kind of fucking suck live?
So like a hardcore band that I loved that I saw live and I was like, oof, not doing it for me.
Yeah.
I feel like that's most of them because half the time the lead singer doesn't even sing. It's kind of just, all right, everybody knows the song, like I'm going to pass it, And I grew up in like New Hampshire and Boston, so there's a lot of hardcore bands. Like you had like your Have Hearts, you had your like Gangrenes, your FUs, like all this, like all like old hardcore punk stuff, and like those bands are still playing, but I don't think it's it's the same. Right. I think when bands like that came out, it was kind of so special, and then it's like, all right, well when you're not 17 and complaining about like who even knows what, now you're like 42 and you have like 4 kids, like it's a little bit different.
Yeah.
But for the most part, I feel like all the bands are pretty great. Like one of the last shows I went to was like Bane's final show in Boston, which sold out in like 3 seconds, and my friend got me tickets, and it was just, I've never seen that many people like at a hardcore show be so stoked. So that was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Also still just very sweaty, and
right.
It was like them and I think like Ceremony and a couple other bands. Saves the Day too, randomly.
Oh, that's weird.
Yeah, they kind of, I think the gap between like like that kind of pop punk and hardcore, like they always kind of mesh a little bit.
Yeah.
But, yeah, man. Good times.
Yeah. So Talk Me Off has been together for how long?
So I think Talk Me Off has been together for 3.5 years now.
Yeah.
So we started, so when me and Holly moved to Richmond, we were living at another place, and Holly had just left Orlando. So she was like looking to play some bass and stuff like that. And she actually joined a Screeching Weasel cover band that did like some holiday like charity events. So every year in Richmond, except for this year, of course, there's this thing called Punks for Presents, where everybody gets together and covers a band and, donate all the money to the Children's Hospital and kind of buy, gifts for kids and stuff like that. So Holly played in this band called Screeching Reindeer. So like they always switch the names to kind of, like there's like the Christmas Fits, and I've done Snow Effects and stuff like that. So Holly actually met Ryan through that. And then we ended up Ryan played in another band called Clever Girl, and he played in a Ramones cover band, which he still does every once in a while. So we kind of got together and we're like, yeah, let's write some songs. And actually, Tom and Nikki from Dr. Mechanic put out that first cassette for us, which was super cool. And we're like, oh, cool. Like we have a physical thing.
Yeah.
I guess we like have to do this now,
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Tom and Nikki are great. They put out all of our stuff on cassette.
Yeah, they're making some cassettes for us of this EP as well. So we kind of, keep in touch with them. But so they did that. And then we've just been kind of playing shows if we can and, traveling. Not anymore, but yeah. Yeah, we had so many shows lined up, as I'm sure you guys y'all did too.
For sure. Yeah.
You got made flyers for a couple of them.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, you do a lot of our art just because I know you're gonna do a good job, and it's gonna be quickly.
Yeah, a lot of the art out there can be hit or miss for sure when getting some band art and stuff like that, or extremely expensive.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I remember for one show, I remember getting you to do the art, and I sent you. I think this happened a couple times where I've sent you the flyer that they have posted.
Yeah,
It's like, man, look at this shit. What is this bullshit?
it's like MS Paint like Volume 3, and it's like
Yeah,
a couple like 5 different typefaces, and there's no info about the show on it, but it's a flyer somehow.
that's right. Yeah, well, I'm pretty easygoing with stuff. But like, I remember one flyer that I sent you. It was the Mobile or the Crichton Leprechaun that like eyewitness drawing, and then like the shitty MS Paint, text.
Which is actually, sometimes a flyer can be so shitty it's good. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
but that one was so shitty it was shitty.
Yeah. I was like, man, I hope this dude is joking, sending me this. And so I was like, I did I was just like, oh man, you know what? My buddy went ahead and made a flyer for this, and then just got you.
The old swap out.
Yeah.
But yeah, how about y'all? Are you y'all writing some new music and stuff like that?
Yeah, we recorded 4 songs.
Nice.
So I don't know if we're gonna put out an EP or try and do something different. I don't know.
Yeah. It's always like, do we save it for something bigger, or do we just,
right,
put out something now while we're still about it?
Yeah. Yeah, it's I don't know. Hopefully these vaccines slow all this stuff down.
Yeah, I feel like every day we stare into this like black pit of our phones, and then we're like, okay, cool, maybe we'll find something to be happy about tomorrow. But
yeah,
chances are probably not.
You're right, man. Yeah, that's why I started this podcast, because I was like, man, I need something, or I'm going to scream just out into the world.
A beacon of hope.
Yeah.
In 2020 and 2021.
Yeah. But yeah, I've been lucky enough to get some cool people on. Have you on?
Well, thank you. Yeah,
cool,
I mean, I always get super intimidated about these things. I was like, I guess I'll go on and talk. Why not?
It's easy.
What else are we doing?
Right. Yeah. Yeah, and I like to have like a conversation. You know? It's not like so I've heard some like punk centric podcasts be like, so what inspires you?
Yeah.
Like, fuck, I don't know. What's the best Misfits song?
None of them. Another one where it's like, okay, yeah, that band got back together and now their tickets are $800 for some reason.
Yeah.
All these rich people that are going to like Misfits shows and like punk rock bowling. I'm like, damn, like, must be nice to pay like $4,000 to go see your favorite bands at the Madison Square Garden.
Yeah. There's a funny thing. The therapist office that I go to, the like head doctor went to see them in Madison Square Garden, and I was like, so that's the person, doctors, are going to see them.
Can you listen to the Misfits?
All right. Yeah, man, I'm starting to, my world is starting to crumble.
Yeah,
hearing this.
Too close to home. And yeah, we were talking about that too, and it's just like, bands that like do the face paint and stuff like that. You get, and like we saw a band once that did. It was like 2 people did face paint and 2 people didn't. It's like, you got to go full for it.
No, you can't half step into that.
Half the band can't be stoked on an idea that's like aesthetic.
Yeah. One band that you got, even though they're all turds, you gotta commend them for being fucking dedicated, is Kiss.
Yeah, dude, Kiss is a great band.
Man, their songs are so good.
I'll stand by that. And like Detroit Rock City, like we were talking about that movie the other day, and like that movie still, I gotta like rewatch it within the past 5 years, but last time I remember, it still holds up.
Yeah,
still a solid flick. And I mean, Gene Simmons is a crazy person, but they know how to market themselves like no other. You know.
Yeah.
But Yeah, they went full for it.
Yeah.
Face makeup,
Still doing it. They're in their 70s and they're still, yeah.
singing "Lick It Up" in full face makeup.
Oh man, yeah. I don't know if you've a favorite video of ours to watch or listen to in the van is the Paul Stanley stage banter super compilation.
Ooh, I haven't seen that. That sounds really good. You're gonna have to send me that link.
Do yourself a favor, because it's just the most absurd banter that you could dream and want.
From Kiss.
From Kiss, yeah.
From Kiss.
Yeah.
I mean, you're surprised that like Gene Simmons isn't doing it, but I guess hey, someone's got to step up to the plate.
That's true. Yeah, fill the void.
Yeah. Fill the void of the crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy banter.
I used to be super into Rammstein as a teenager. I think that's
that's pretty par for the course.
the age range you should be into Rammstein. But I remember watching an interview with like the singer of Rammstein, and he was talking about opening up for Kiss in Mexico City, and they were like, they did not like us at all. And Rammstein was already huge at this point. Du Hast had came out, all that big shit.
They're like probably competing with because like they've got a crowd that's just younger than the Kiss fans. Like
maybe Kiss fans are just crazy.
I gotta ask you, did you ever hear the rumor that like the band Rammstein like killed somebody? Like they shot like a flaming arrow into a crowd at like one of their shows and like killed a fan.
I'd buy it. That sounds about right.
Yeah, I'd say that might be real.
Yeah.
I'd have to check out like Snopes or something like that. get the verification that we need.
Yeah, well, it's just you can't, it's a numbers game with that where you got everything is on fire on stage. Something's gonna happen.
Something bad's not gonna go.
You're right.
They were kind of they were an interesting band, and I feel like their shows are like they're still shows. You know what I mean? Like you can go see a concert, but it's like that's like an epic like event.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like Slayer or something like that.
Yeah. Yeah. I've always wanted to try, obviously not something like that, but obviously
Shoot some flaming arrows into the crowd.
Yeah, I don't know if our van is big enough to fit all of our gear and all of our the pyro and light rig. Yeah, the light rig we would need. But yeah, it's tough to well, at least for us, it's tough to get people like interested,
Yeah, I feel like most times like there's a lot of bands that are great that get no attention, and then there's like some bands that kind of have like a thing about them that's
right
interesting that people are like, oh, I want to go check out this band because X, Y, and Z, they're doing some crazy shit or like, but then it's like you play places like the Fest and it's like, how do I get people to see my band when there's 400 bands this weekend?
Yeah,
or like something like that.
For
so
sure.
it's especially within the punk scene, everybody kind of, for the most part, we're all just fumbling around until, someone writes a good track.
Yeah. Get that big fat check.
Yeah, get the big check.
Yeah.
We're all just waiting to sell out, let's be honest.
Yes. They wrote that Real Big Fish wrote that song for a reason.
Yeah, they weren't lying.
Hell no.
Then they wrote Don't Start a Band, and they also weren't lying.
Right.
Yeah, actually, one of the last things we did as a band before all this was like we did a podcast as well, and we just kind of talked about touring and stuff like that. But it's been weird not playing music for this long. Like I feel like it's, I don't know. You definitely see people that are like think that it's like, okay, cool, like like maybe the world will get back to normal. But then for some people, it's like like their whole life was like live music entertainment and stuff like that, and those people have no way of knowing when they're going to go back to work. So
for sure. Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah. We're lucky enough that, our day jobs, Robert's a firefighter, so it's not like they're going to be like, all right, we don't need the fire department anymore.
Yeah. Cutting funds.
Right. Yeah. So yeah. And I test software. So there wasn't like a real, like, all right, we can't do the job anymore.
Yeah.
So we were super lucky that, yeah.
Yeah, like they're not kicking you out for any reason. They're like,
Right.
all right, you need
So
software even more than
yeah,
before.
yeah. So yeah, I feel super lucky. But yeah,
Yeah.
definitely I know some people who like playing music was their like they were all in on
Yeah.
touring.
And you know what's crazy too, to think that there's like legit merch people. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
most of the time you just ask your friend like, yo, can you like cover their merch booth like while we play? But like
Right.
there's people out there that are like, I'm a merch person. Like this is what I do, you know? I'm like stuff like that. So it's like it's crazy to think that like, you know, merch people are out of business and stuff like
Yeah.
that. But I think bands have become super like inventive though in this time, you know, and I think as much as it sucks that shows like aren't happening, you know, I think everybody kind of took a break and like looked back and was like, wow, you know, like maybe we should try and reinvent the wheel,
Yeah.
you know, and you can, you know, that's what happened when I feel like the internet first kind of like came to fruition with like like music, you know, like it was so accessible and everybody could do it that you kind of like you lost some of that mystique and you didn't want to buy records because you could download it. But now it's kind of like I can't see bands live. I need to go back to the internet to like, you know, like see them, like see what they're doing and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
it's definitely interesting. People are definitely hustling still, you know.
Yeah, for sure.
I get like a bands in town notification that like some other band is doing live stream, and I'm, you know, at first I was like super down, and now I'm like I'm so burnt out on live streams.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Well, like, I'm sure you're the same way where you can tell when somebody put effort into like their live stream.
Yeah, totally.
You know what I'm
And
saying?
yeah, like our friends Rebuilder, just and
Yeah.
I think
I was about
I
to say
think you
that.
know Daniel. Yeah, Daniel's a sweetheart. You know, like he always books us in Boston, and
Yeah.
because we usually play Pooza Fest and come back through, and
Yeah.
you know I've known Daniel for years and years and years. But yeah, Rebuilder one, you know, like they didn't really do a ton of live stuff before, and they really I think you know held it for that, and the video turned out great. You know, like they played a bunch of new songs, so it's like all right, I want to listen because they're doing new shit, you know, and
Right.
people are kind of dying for that right now.
Yeah. Yeah. And
So,
they also had like a cool like interview, you know,
yeah,
thing. And it
like
was
cold as fuck.
right. And it's, you know, it was nicely shot, you know, it wasn't
Yeah.
just somebody on their iPhone, which, you know,
Yeah.
iPhone can get good video, but I mean,
Can't capture the allure.
right. Yeah.
The true moments. Yeah, no, they really went for it, and you know, there's a you know, and like the fest has still been doing live streams, and
Right.
you know, I've seen a lot of other you know things in other countries of people being pretty inventive of how to you know reincorporate at least live or separated music back into it, but it's I don't know. I wish I played guitar because it is like I have to like go play drums, you know, like
Yeah.
I have to like get up and do it. I was like, oh, I'm just gonna stay in my house, you know.
What's y'all's practice space situation like?
So we practice. We all got a spot in Richmond. We kind of put practice on hold for a little while. You know,
Yeah, for
just
sure. Yeah.
numbers are crazy, and it's really no need right now. But yeah, it's us and a couple other bands share this spot, and you know, it's cool, man. There's almost like there's too much in Richmond. You know, like there's a lot of great bands from here, and like there's too much and there's too little because there's so many bands. It's like all right, we need to find a practice spot, you know, now. But there's like 74 other bands looking for a practice spot, you know. So
Yeah.
we got this cool little space on like South Side, and we go there, and you know, like that's pretty much like right before quarantine hit. We were like writing the EP, and then we're like, let's just finish it and record it, and at least have something new,
Yeah.
you know, before we leave. And Swamp Cabbage was down to put it out, and Smart Punk, and even this label called Wall Ride Records is putting out the cassette and stuff like that. So that'll be cool. And that's like Derek from Nightbirds, the drummer. So
Oh yeah.
we like the tunes, so it'll be fun.
That's cool.
But we're like, we got to come out of it with something, you know, at least even if it's just tunes that we recorded that, you know,
Yeah.
might not see the light of day, but we just wanted to have fun.
Yeah. What you brought up that you're in Richmond. Is Guar Bar cool?
Guar Bar is pretty cool. Yeah. So we don't go there like super often. We went, so I feel like Guar Bar for the most part, and not talking shit here, but like it's kind of like a before quarantine and stuff like that, definitely a travel destination for bands when they came into town. They're like, yeah, like we're playing a show, we want to go to Guar Bar and like see what it's all about. And it's like, you know, it's eccentric, it's awesome, you know, like they've got shit hanging off the walls, and cheap drinks and pretty good food. So, you know, there's like a lot of just bars. Like there's even a new spot called Cobra Cabana in Richmond, which is owned by like Valiant Thor members and stuff like that. So everybody in Richmond either plays in a band or works at a bar. So
that's fucking cool.
You know, kind of can't strike out there.
Yeah.
I remember like one of the first jobs I had when I moved here, I worked at this place called 821 Cafe.
Okay.
And just like washing dishes and like, you know, delivering food until I could find like another job. And the dudes found out like, oh, he's into punk, you know, like that's cool. And I was like out back talking. I was like, someone should do like a Tony Hawk Pro Skater Halloween cover set. And like one of the dudes like laughed. He's like, haha, like Garth's band was on Tony Hawk. And I was like, I was like, what band do you play? And he's like, oh, like Strike Anywhere. And I was like, dude, I was like, I listened to your band like all through high school. You know, you're just kind of like, oh, okay, cool.
Oh,
like,
nice. Oh, cool.
Yeah. And then like the owner came up to me. He's like, yeah, I play in this band like Amberetta. Like we got this show, you know, next week if you want to come. And I was like, dude, punk's everywhere, you know, in Richmond. Yeah. It was kind of like when I was like, this is funny because the pizza place that I worked at in New Hampshire was just like a bunch of people I went to high school with, you know, like not like people that I like listened to their music in high school.
Damn, dude, that's wild.
Yeah, kind of funny, but you know, and that's like the same thing with Bar, you know, like they all hire musicians. They're, you know, everybody here has been super cool with everything going on, you know,
right?
Protocols and everything like that. But yeah, kind of just like no end in sight, so everybody's just hustling.
Yeah. Yeah, that's I can't imagine. It's a cool place living and working in a cool place like that where it's like, oh yeah, I was yeah, we toured with Rancid like I don't know, like 5 years in a row. I don't know. You know?
Yeah, like oh no big deal. Yeah, like in like Amberetta had just like played with like Blink-182 like you know the week before and shit like that. I'm like, dude, come on, man. I was like, yeah, of course I'll go see your band. You know, why not? But you know, it's cool. There's a lot of great music here, but you know, I think people are definitely hurting at this time.
For sure.
Unfortunately.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. What's up with Alabama?
Still wild and crazy.
I was gonna say, like, I feel like you know it depends on where you go, where people are like taking it more seriously, or you know, the mentality.
Yeah, for sure. I find I haven't like the only places I've been in the past 10 months are like out of town have been Birmingham, Alabama, and Austin. And both those places are very liberal, and so they're taking it very seriously.
Yeah.
But Mobile, where I live,
little different.
Not so much. Yeah, there's like, yeah.
It's disheartening too. You know, you're like, come on, like. At least as a town, could we have like one collective decision that's like not absolute bullshit? No,
dude. No.
That's like Richmond is fine, but like the second you go out of town, it's just like mask. Like what?
Yeah.
Why would you wear that?
Yeah, it's
you gotta love it.
Well, it's you know it's in Mobile especially numbers are spiking like super hard right now again. Yeah. Which I know that's a lot of places, but it's just like, man, if there's only something we could do, you know, to try and help.
If only we've been told something that we can maybe try to maybe help.
Yeah.
They're like, nope. They're like Internet Eagle told me that that's a hoax, so I have to believe it.
Yeah, and I understand, you know, as much as I don't agree, but I understand people like it's been 10 months. I'm, you know, whatever.
Yeah, I get the. Yeah.
Sorry, go on.
No, it's all you.
No, but I don't know. You know, people are. Okay, so in America, as you know this, I'm not fucking breaking ground here with what I'm about to say. People don't like to be told what to do in America, and then in the South in America, people definitely don't like to be told what to do.
Yeah, I can vouch for that, you know, because being from the Northeast, you know, like it's a lot different than moving down here, you know.
Yeah.
And I think what we're kind of getting at is like, yeah, like, you know, after 10 months, people are like fed up, you know, and it's like, you can understand that, but at the same time, it's like you're fed up because of others like ignorance, you know?
Yeah, for
and
sure.
it's like everybody else, like I saw someone say something that just like hit home. They're like, it's like all the smart kids are trying to do the group project and the like, you know, the dumb kids are just like ruining it for everybody else, you know, and we just gotta like deal with the consequences.
Yeah.
Hope we at least get like a C+ or something.
Yeah. Yeah, man. I don't know. I hope these these vaccines rolling out actually help, because man, fuck, I don't know. If they don't, shit, I don't know.
If not, I might see you next year for another podcast.
Yeah, man, we'll do a yearly.
Yeah, we get a yearly meeting on January 13th.
Yeah, man, I can go ahead and lock it in on Zoom. I'll send you the invite.
Yeah. Send me the Google invite.
Yeah, yeah. But anyways, let's pivot from it.
I know we could go down this wormhole for like hours.
What's one of the bands that you've played with Talk Me Off, that you've been like, damn, I can't believe I'm playing with this band?
Well, so we've done a lot of shows that I kind of have that feeling.
Yeah. Get 3. We can do 3.
Yeah. We like, so there was one in particular that like we were all like super stoked on. Now I'm just like thinking, I'm like, oh damn, like, so when our sixth show was with Off for Their Heads in Baltimore, and like so that was a real fun one, and not like a like, oh shit, we're playing with this band, but I was like, oh damn, like a band I actually want to like, you know, stay for the headliner type deal. Like we've played with like the Addicts recently. There's just like a lot of like, I don't know. There's like one of our like most fun shows, I will say, that we're all kind of like stoked that we played was with Nightbirds.
Oh, yeah.
So that record store that I was telling you about in Richmond called Vinyl Conflicts, they had this like 10-year anniversary show, and I was chatting with the dude Bobby, and he was like, oh yeah, like I think we're gonna get this band like Neighborhood Brats to play, like do you guys want to play? And I was like, dude, yeah, like that band rips, you know, like they're super good. If you haven't checked them out, listen to them. But and he wrote me a little bit after, and he's like, oh, like bummer, like they bailed. He's like, if y'all still want to play, like the new lineup is going to be Nightbirds and Dark Thoughts. And I was like, yeah, I think we could swing that.
We might be able to, yeah.
Yeah. I'm like, you know, like Holly used to play in a band with Daniel and stuff like that back in the day. So just playing with Dark Thoughts too is always a lot of fun. But yeah, we're like, man, Nightbirds, you know, because we're all like big Ergs fans. So we're like, oh shit, yeah, like, right. And Holly loves Psych to Die and stuff like that. And so we're like, oh, like Joe Erg and like all that shit. So that was probably one of the shows that we're like, all right, this is a good one. We'll put this flyer up on the wall.
It's made the wall.
And we played with like the Lillingtons and stuff like that, which is like, you know, like nostalgic and fun and cool. But yeah, like, you know, there's always a million shows in Richmond, but so we're lucky to play any of them, I think, at this point, you know? Yeah. But the Addicts one was super interesting because it was at like the second biggest venue in town. So it's this place called the Broadberry, and this lady Jess that runs it, she does Broadberry Entertainment and stuff like that. Awesome person, has always been down to help us with shows. And I was like, hey, can like we play that Addict show? And she's like, yeah, sure, why not? And funny story, like there's like this little green room, and it's like kind of implied that it's like just for the addicts. Yeah. But like we get the door code and stuff like that. So like, you know, we were drinking and like messing around, and I was like, oh, I like left a beer in the other room. And I like went into like the green room and stuff like that, into the code, and just like walked in on that dude like naked. He's like changing into his like apparel for the show. He's like, get out. And I was like, oh. Yeah, made a good impression there. Like, whoops. And yeah, that was in January. So that was one of the last shows that we played. So, you know, just making stupid mistakes. And
was and you don't have to say which member it was, but was he packing heat? What was he working with? Did you get a good look?
He was turned around the other way, and he was like tossing on the coat. It was the lead singer. He was tossing on the coat, and you know the hat get up, which I was never like a super big Addicts fan, but like they're still really tight, you know, like and they've been doing it for a really long time. But like I walked in, and I was like, damn, I was like, whoops, my bad. But yeah, it was just like getting dressed, and I was like, I should not be here right now.
What if he was like, no, close the door behind you, like close the door?
he invited me in for a cigar and some whiskey before the gig.
Shit.
It'd definitely be stranger things to happen.
Damn.
But yeah, that was a good one. And like there's just been like a lot of fun shows that we've had the opportunity to play. And actually the Lawrence Arms one.
Oh yeah.
Was super fun. I actually booked that one. So I pulled the whole, like my band can play.
I was just thinking.
I understand.
Yeah. It just dawned on me. Yeah.
Yeah. And so like it was actually really funny. So like Toby from Red Scare, hit me up. He's like, hey, like, Lawrence Arms is coming through. Do you want to book it? And I was like, not really, but sure. Like, why not? So we ended up getting them at this bar, which was like 140 cap, and 280 people came through the door.
Damn.
Like, before whatever. I don't think they even turned anybody away, but like, yeah, that was a good time. Like Holly, like literally loaded out her guitar and then couldn't get back into the room because people were just like to the brim, like you're basically crowd surfing just to get a spot.
Yeah.
But that was fun. They had like an off night on their like Bad Religion tour. And I got like, again, super embarrassed at that show. I like went up to the drummer after we're all like loading out, like I'm paying them and kind of squaring up and, just shooting the shit. And I went up to the drummer and I was like, yeah, man, like, great set. I was like, what do you do for a living? And he like kind of like looked at me and I was like, he's like, I do Lawrence Arms. And I was like, oh.
Yeah, I was like, yeah, you asshole. What do you think I do?
I was like, oh, whoops. I was like that. I didn't mean to say it like that, but you always assume like someone's got like, in the music industry, someone's got a side hustle,
right.
Oh, like I'm a studio drummer or I do this and that. And he's like, I do Lawrence Arms. I was like, dang, that's awesome.
Fucking more power to you. Shit.
Yeah, that rules. And he lives in LA. Super sweet dude. Yeah. And we played like a Mexican like restaurant. And after the show, I caught like Brendan Kelly eating like a 7-Eleven burrito. And, they had like had food before and I was like, oh, like having a 7-Eleven burrito. I was like, yeah, man, this always scratches the itch at the end of a show,
Yeah, man. You're running for the border. Yeah.
Yeah, gonna get that good nightcap, the 7-Eleven burrito.
Yeah, just to ease my stomach before going to sleep.
Yeah, it helps me, get a good night's sleep.
Oh shit. Yeah, it's always it is always scary taking on a show, let alone a big show where it's like, man, if people don't come out, I don't know.
I got anxious for like 3 days before because, like, how it goes with like, show, it's a Monday night. Yeah. Like, oh, I hope people come. And you always are like, oh, the ones that are going to be good are bad.
Yeah.
The ones that you're like, oh, maybe this will be good are just like a toss up, and it's just like, shoot, like, I hope people come and hang out,
Yeah.
But they did. They showed up, and I think Richmond is like one of those places. Like, if the show's free,
people come out.
People will be there, which I respect it.
Yeah.
But yeah, man. Besides that, just been drawing and playing drums when I can. Living the quarantine life.
Do you draw stuff for yourself at all? Like,
yeah, I've been trying to lately. I think one thing that's hard about, doing art or doing music. I think you still need to take the time to like not monetize your hobbies and kind of just do stuff for yourself, and like, I'll still paint paintings just for fun and stuff like that. And, even with music, it's like, you'll like play covers or like do stuff like that just because it's like, well, I enjoy music and stuff like that. But I think in today's like hustle, it's like everybody wants to monetize their hobbies, and sometimes you can, and it's just like you gotta like get that fine line of like, all right, I'm doing stuff for me,
Yeah, it's true.
And I've even hit up other artists for talking me off because I'm like, I don't want to do anything,
Yeah.
Like Holly's friend Jess from Orlando painted the album art because I was like, I don't want to do art.
Right. Yeah, that makes sense. I was going to ask you that because I've noticed with Talk Me Off, it's not you because you have a very distinct, to me at least, you have a very distinct style. Yeah. Like, I know I even hit you up when there's like a Red Scare thing. I was like, did you make this? And it wasn't,
Yeah. And and that's the thing too, I feel like I pigeonhole myself. I'm like, yeah, maybe like someone else would be better at this. Also, I'm just like, I don't want, like, I did the art for like both the EPs, the new one that's going to come out, which is going to be like on an obnoxious double-sided 10-inch, just for fun, because it like just barely didn't fit on a 7-inch.
Yeah.
But yeah, like it's like I'll do it when I can, but for the most part, like my day job is like I do design as well too. So I'm like at the end of the night, it's like I'm like burnt out.
For sure.
And I think everybody kind of gets to that point, when even when you cross the bridge in music from like, all right, I was playing for fun, or like, I haven't reached this, but like now I'm playing for a paycheck. I assume that there's like, kind of like it loses its touch, and it's like it loses its like fun and whatever you want, special being the special touch, whatever.
Right.
I don't know what you would call it, but
I got you, man. Yeah, I'm sure. Like, I don't know, even I don't know, fucking AFI or something. I'm sure Davey Havoc is like, fuck, I would rather be anywhere else than the Tucson Auditorium or Amphitheater.
I bet there's some nights where they're like, like they're like all stoked, because I'm sure you're still stoked at least to play a little bit.
For sure, yeah, absolutely.
But then you're like, oh shit, like they didn't get my granola bars that I asked for, like you get to that point where you're like, you've got a schedule, and which is actually super funny because the rider for Lawrence Arms asked for like the standard stuff, but like the last item was like a chimpanzee in a throne with a scepter, and I was like,
did you get it?
No, I wish. So there's like, people have like, Toby told me that like people have like drawn pictures of it before, to like fulfill the rider, and I was like thinking of like, oh, like I'll just there's this like oddity shop in Richmond, and this dude Justin runs it that I know, and I was like, dude, imagine if I actually got like a like taxidermied chimpanzee sitting on a throne and like presented it to them. Like you'd have to win at that point. I think
you spent $800 on this taxidermy chimpanzee and throne.
I spent $4,000 just for y'all.
Okay, well, are you gonna pay us? What?
Yeah.
Do what?
No, that's the whole guarantee.
What?
It comes out of the. You guys actually owe me now.
Yeah. So I'll get you an itemized statement. Don't worry about it right now.
Yeah, but yeah, and like like I feel like there's got to be a fine line, between what you do for fun and like what you monetize, and I don't know. Everybody's just hustling nowadays, so it's kind of like, where's the line? Especially with like running a record label, I don't know how people do that.
Yeah,
I've thought about it, but it's just kind of like, no thanks.
Yeah,
a lot of work for not a lot of payoff.
Yeah, it's just fucking passion, man.
Yeah, even the big ones, like it must be hard to like, because if you put out one stinker, it's like, all right, there's
a couple grand.
Yeah, there's the budget for the next band. All.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Just been doing the thing.
That's right. I did get some. I got some questions for you.
What you got?
So I know you. As you saw, I asked. I usually what I'm liking to do now is, whenever I'm recording with someone, I'll say, recording with so and so, ask questions.
Yeah.
So we were lucky enough to get some. Let's see here.
I was gonna say, anybody I know chime in?
Yeah.
Or just some randos. Always down.
Okay. Here's one. Favorite punk drummer of all time.
Favorite punk drummer. Shoot. Like I'm gonna have to be that guy and say Bill Stevenson. Ever since like I was like a little kid. Like Descendants, Black Flag. And even all of the All catalog is so impressive, and that dude just rips. So I'd say Bill Stevenson, and I wonder if there's like a close second. Probably just Bill Stevenson again. So
yeah, I like watching videos of him playing live. Like not of like in the recent years, because it's like the way his like snare is at like an angle.
Yeah, and he's just slicing that butter, dude.
It's just like, and it looks like he's just like but it's like, it's crazy.
It's like, is he doing fourth notes? Is he doing 16th notes? And like, where did that fill come from?
Right. Yeah.
I actually saw him. He's a super interesting dude. I didn't really like meet him, but like I went and I saw Only Crime in Boston. They played to like 15 people. because Only Crime, I guess, is not as big because it's like him, the dude from Good Riddance, one of the dudes from Bane, and I forget the other band, but I like talked to him after, and I was like, hey man, like that was great, like you're one of my favorite drummers, and he was just kind of like, cool man, thanks. Well, and I was like, all right, that's all I needed to hear.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure so many people come up to him and was like, oh, you don't know what Milo Goes to College did to me. And he's like, dude, oh, cool, thanks, bro. Yeah.
I think after seeing Filmage too, and knowing that like he wrote a lot of the music, if not all of it, pretty much, and like all that, he's an interesting dude for sure. I feel like the documentary definitely painted him in a good light.
And him, do you have a brain tumor?
Yeah, like a big scar on his head. I think he had like a brain tumor removed or something like that.
Yeah, just like. Yeah, so even that to still be as good and have like a huge like brain injury and have your brain operated on, which is like if you half a centimeter the wrong way and you like can't talk anymore, Yeah,
and they said like even the surgeon was like a Black Flag fan. Like they found a photo of him like crowd surfing at a Black Flag show. I was like, that's cool as shit.
Yeah,
you don't get that often.
Yeah. Oh man. Okay. Next one is from I'm just gonna go ahead and expose him. This is Andy from Caffeines.
Dude.
What's your favorite type of Taco Bell sauce?
So I'm gonna get some grief for this one. Like, not really a huge Taco Bell sauce fan, Yeah. Me and Holly will get the Bell, but I'll say the hot. I did like the Verde that they had, and then they did away with it. Yeah. I'm like a green hot sauce kind of dude.
I like the green Tabasco is my favorite.
It seems like now Taco Bell. I mean, this was before, but Taco Bell now is like, we're gonna get rid of everything that people like.
Yeah.
Just in case they want it to come back.
Right.
But the Verde sauce at Taco Bell back in the day used to slam, and I'll stand by that.
Wow, man!
I'm really going for it on that one.
Yeah, going for the throat. Hopefully, hopefully the hate messages I get aren't too terrible. I know.
This might be a groundbreaking episode.
I'm saying it. Okay, and we have one more. What is your favorite graphic design program to work in?
I work in Illustrator. I actually have so most of my stuff now I'm actually doing like Procreate, which is kind of crazy because it's such a cheap program and for the iPad and stuff like that. But I do Illustrator, and that's about it. Set up all those vector files, all those fun flyers, But I do that, and I try to get into like scanning stuff and like going about it weird different ways, and like because everything's been done at least once or twice in this world. Yeah. So, but that's as good as it gets on my end.
Yeah. A real tech head.
Yeah. I'm like in the thick of all the programs.
Yeah, all of them. Illustrator. Illustrator.
Well, it's funny. There's Illustrator. There's Procreate, which just sounds like a Christian like dating website. If you ask me. And it's just like I was like, they probably could have thought of a better name than that.
Yeah.
But yeah, man.
What speaking of like graphic design guys in bands, the Every Time I Die guitarist. Do you follow his stuff?
I don't. Is he a designer as well?
He does, and his stuff is crazy. And he does the I guess it's Procreate. He's drawing on his iPad, and he'll do like Instagram, stories where he's like zooming in. Yeah.
Well, also I wonder that with in that regard, like if he was like, what came first, the band or like the art? Like sometimes when you see people that are like super good at art and in the band, you're like, what did you do first that didn't pan out? Like you try art first, you try like this, or is your art big now because you're in, a big band or whatever? But,